This is Charlie Parsons for Boxing Social in association with Empire Fight Store. Skye Nicolson, back in the States, back in New York. How are we?
I'm back. I'm good. Fight week feels.
You were in Detroit last week with Alycia Baumgartner finishing off camp. I imagine adjusting to time and climate and everything. How was that?
It was good. It was really good. We always have such good vibes. We always have fun. It was really cool to obviously be in training camp in Detroit with a unified world champion who's about to go undisputed. So, no, I couldn't have asked for a better way to finish up camp.
She spoke really highly of you today when I interviewed her. It seems like you've got a little bit of a girl boss bond going on there.
We do. No, it's always... Ever since we met, we've just kicked it off right from the start, and it's all good vibes, all positivity, and it's good to be around like-minded athletes, yeah.
Fighting for the WBC silver belt this weekend. How excited are you? Another opportunity at the Theatre MSG. Big global card, obviously, stacked with female talent. You must just be so happy with how everything's going.
I am. I'm so happy. It's an amazing way to start off what I'm hoping to be a huge year. Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait to get in there. I love fighting. Like I always say, I'd be in there every weekend if I could. I'm very excited for Saturday night. I think it's going to be an amazing show.
I was doubling up on my research this week. I was actually watching you on the MMA Hour with Ariel. You didn't watch boxing. I couldn't believe that when that conversation came up. So talk to me a little bit, for us who haven't seen it on this side, the transition for you, because you were an amateur, decorated, did it because you love boxing for Australia. Never really had the idea of going pro, wanted to always do the Olympics, and then I suppose, just speak through it all. I found it so interesting.
Yeah, I've never really been a big boxing fan.
Be saying that.
I'm just being honest. I watch a lot more boxing now. The past year I've watched more boxing in the past year than I have in my whole life. But yeah, I would watch like the big names, like the big fights. I was a very casual boxing fan, to be fair. I always watched a lot of amateur boxing. I was always watching and studying amateur boxing and opponents that I would potentially fight in the amateurs. But yeah, as far as pro boxing went, this year has been a very big eye-opening year for me.
So you went on the MMA Hour after the Olympics, and the goal for you was Paris 2024. What was it that changed in those couple of months? I imagine obviously you come out of the Olympics and you're very disheartened and it's a lot of emotion and adrenaline that you're riding off on. What was it that made you transition to the pros?
I guess it was the conversations that I started having with my manager, Paul Reddy, with Eddie, obviously, with Matchroom, and I guess it just opened my eyes to this other world that I hadn't really even considered. So my first conversation with Eddie, he was saying, now is the time. Like, women's boxing is buzzing. It's on the rise. I can see you being a multi-weight world champion, and kind of just sold me that dream. And it got me excited about doing something new, something exciting. And that was kind of the turning point for me. But also, obviously, having that rule change that professionals could go back to the amateurs as well. So it kind of made it wasn't like a be-all, end-all choice, which obviously in the past it has been for boxers, where it's been like, once I make this decision, I can't go back. I didn't have that kind of pressure on the decision, which made it easier for me to make the choice.
When you had those conversations, did you expect to be as busy as you have been? Was that something that was pitched to you from early?
I mean, it was the plan to have 6 fights in the first year, 4 fights in the second year. So that was always the plan. And that was in my agreement from the start. So we were always going to have a busy first year. So this will be my 6th fight in 12 months. But yeah, I think I would fight more often, as I always say. Like, I love fighting. It's what I do. It's what I train for. If I don't have a fight coming up, like, I just feel lost. I'm like, what do I do with myself? So no, it's been an incredible first 12 months. Absolutely loving the journey.
And also globetrotting as well. I know you did that in the amateurs, but I think you said it was the best way to put it was, I'm doing the travelling that I was already doing, but I'm getting paid big bucks for doing it.
Exactly. I'm still doing what I love. So at the end of the day, it's a win-win for me. But no, I've absolutely loved going around the world. This will be my 3rd fight in America, which I'm so grateful for. I love coming over here and fighting. I'm hopefully going to be back in the UK not too long after this one. We are planning on having a busy first half of this year as well before we start looking at those world title fights.
Saturday night, what's your opponent like? What can we expect to see Saturday from you?
Alvarez is young and hungry. She's an undefeated fighter. She's 7-0 as a pro. She's an all-action fighter. She wants to be right up in your face. So I'm expecting a high-pace, all-action fight, which I'm really excited for. I feel like my first 5 fights, my opponents have studied me, seen that I'm a counter boxer, and kind of not engaged as aggressively as they probably would against other opponents. But I see Alvarez coming quite aggressively. So I'm quite excited for that. I think there's going to be a lot more action than we might have seen in my first 5 fights.
I was going to say, I feel like, and I imagine you'll reiterate this, you almost sort of need someone to come at you now, because you've shown that you can box so well, but almost like there is always going to be question marks as to like if you can take it when they're charging at you. And when you step up to world level, we look at someone like Amanda Serrano, who's always marching forward, tenacity, volume. You sort of need an opponent where you can sort of, you would have done it in the amateurs, but be able to like demonstrate that as a pro, that you can deal with the fast-paced action.
That's exactly why we are going through the opponents and the styles of opponents that we are, to make sure that I'm prepared for absolutely anything when it comes time to fight for those world titles.
Skye, you've spoke to me before about sort of the knockouts, and they're not coming yet, but for you, you're not too bothered as such. You just want to keep getting out there, but it's something that you'll have in the back of your mind. You'll want the knockouts to come for you. Do you put that pressure on yourself, or are you just enjoying boxing and showcasing the levels, and if they come, they come?
I mean, of course there is outside pressure for that. I know that professional boxing is a lot more about entertainment and not just about showcasing skills. So I do know that I need to be exciting, I need to sit down on my punches, be more aggressive, and that's all the things that we have been working on in the gym. But I think people also forget that I have only been a pro for 11 months. I was an amateur boxer for 15 years. It's not going to change overnight, but yeah, it's a transition, and we're definitely seeing a lot of those changes in the gym, and hopefully I can, transfer those performances that I'm having in the gym into my performances in the ring on fight night.
Skye, finally from me, Maisey Rose, she'd kill me if I didn't bring her up. Been having a bit of banter about the Greta comments recently, so I had to drop that in here. For her, I suppose the sky's the limit as well. I didn't even realise the little pun that was in there. But yeah, I mean, I imagine being able to have her close, what is home to you now in the UK, and a good friend that you're able to train with and just keep you happy, and she's got such a big future ahead of her.
She's a great young talent. I see really big things for Maisey. She's hilarious, and she's one of the really good friendships that I have made in the UK, and I'm very excited to see her career blossom as well.
Skye, big up yourself. Look forward to seeing you throughout the week and Saturday night. What can we expect? Final message from you?
Tune in Saturday night, you'll find out.
Gee.